Hi everyone, it's Rebecca from School Psych Podcast. I am here today to talk to you a little bit about the RCMAS Revised Children's Manifest Anxiety Scale from the publishers WPS. I am lucky enough to have been able to try it out. I think maybe some school psychologists already use this in looking to gather more information about how a child is feeling in terms of anxiety. So I thought I would talk to you about a little bit of what I discovered giving this brief anxiety scale myself. So I actually created a little bit of a PowerPoint for you all. So I am going to open that up. Okay, so hopefully you can see what I see. The Revised Children's Manifest Anxiety Scale. A general description of it is that it is really quick to administer. It's 49 items, self-report, and it's for children from 6 to 19 years old. You can administer it individually or in a group, and the child responds to each item with a yes or a no. There should, in the manual, it describes not kind of answering too many questions about any particular item, leaving it up to the child to make the interpretation of how they think they should respond. It's very clearly written. The items, they're very short, elementary reading level, probably around second grade, with simple wording. And it does come with an audio CD that can read the items aloud while the child is reading to themselves, if that's helpful. And it takes about 10 or 15 minutes to complete. It will provide you with validity scales of inconsistent reporting index, which includes 9 pairs of questions, defensiveness, which is 9 questions, physiological anxiety, 12 questions, worry, 16 questions, and social anxiety, 12 questions. So I like the way that the different scales separate different potential struggles within the larger category of anxiety. Generally, when you might think to give a child a scale like this, you may already guess or know or be able to see or be given that referral question that I think this child is struggling with anxiety. So these scales can help really tease out how the child is struggling in which ways. Defensiveness is the degree to which the respondent is defensive in responding, not wanting to put forth a negative image of himself or herself. So a high score in this area. That's why it's also part of the validity. A validity scale. A high score may indicate that the respondent is either unwilling to admit common imperfections or has tried to give a very positive image of himself or herself in a somewhat naive or immature fashion. In many instances, the idealized view conveyed by a high defensiveness score is not an effort to delude anyone, but rather a generalized, inflated, or inaccurate view of the self. A high DEF score expresses in a variety of other ways an exceedingly high need for social desirability or acceptance. Unrealistically high standards set by parents or self may be present in the background as well. In other cases, a high score seems to be related to feelings of social isolation or rejection on the part of the child. Emotional problems, inadequate peer relationship, academic problems in school, and stressful situations at home may also be related to a high defensiveness score. So I think that's an interesting scale. The total anxiety scale indicates that the child has upsetting thoughts and ruminations, may complain about the physical symptoms, everyday worries, future worries, social worries, and or performance anxiety, so some more global look. Physiological worry include physical symptoms, tummy aches and headaches that we know kids have, and worry about physical symptoms, including sleep disturbance. The worrying index shows that a child just worries a lot, including anticipatory worry, and may experience inappropriate guilt. Social anxiety worries about social and performance situations and worries a lot about what other people think. I like each of these indices. I think they give some nice information that school psychologists can share with parents, teachers, or the team in order to decide how to address and support some of these vulnerabilities that we notice in a child. Sometimes looking at how to help a child with anxiety can seem, you may not know where to start. So this brief questionnaire can help us in a first step, and also in conjunction with other testing that you may be doing, can just help highlight what kinds of interventions, what kinds of support this child may need. Scoring. The long form is all 49 questions. The short form is 10 questions. The long form is so brief and easy to administer and score that I have not tried a short form, but it's very simple to score. After the child circles the yes or no for each of the items, you simply tear off the little strip on the end and you open it up for the scoring form. Each item indicates which response gets a check mark. For most of them it's a yes. For a few of them, maybe 3, the no response gets a check, which would be 1 point. So for each check mark, under each column of the indices, you count up a raw score, and then you transfer that raw score to a profile sheet, which makes it easy to find by the child's age, the percentile score, and the T-score. You can also get a nice visual graph by circling your T-scores and drawing lines to connect them. So the suggested qualitative descriptors are 71 and higher, extremely problematic, 61 to 71, moderately problematic, 40 to 60, no more problematic than for most, and 39 and lower, less problematic than for most. Again, it's really simple to score. It's very quick. I like this scale. I think that there are often broader scales that look at a variety of issues in terms of behavioral rating scales and things like that look at depression, anxiety, other things. This is a more narrow look at anxiety and how it may manifest in how a child thinks and feels. So I really like it. I think that is something, it's not very expensive. I don't remember the exact cost of it, but it's not very expensive. It's easy to administer and quick. So I think that in conjunction with other things that other kinds of data that you may be collecting, this could be really helpful for helping the adults who care decide next steps. And I think, well, that's about all I have for that. And I think I'm back. Well, thank you so much. And if you are out there using the revised Children's Manifest Anxiety Scale and you like it, or you have some thoughts or suggestions for what else might be helpful in terms of this review for other people, please let me know. And thanks so much for spending a little time with me today. Bye.